Hello everybody, so welcome to part 2 of my greatest hits CD collection. So yeah, picking up where we left off. So next one I have, this is the Yardbirds, and this is called Smokestack Lightning. So it's 2 CDs. It's kind of a greatest hits album, but it actually does contain all the tracks from their first 2 albums. The truth is though, pretty much all the songs on those first 2 albums were hits anyway. And yeah, there's some non-album singles on there as well, some live tracks. So yeah, it's quite a good package this. So it pretty much means, because I do want to get all the albums of the Yardbirds eventually, because they only have like 5 studio albums. But I don't really need to buy the first 2, because all the tracks from those first 2 albums, they're on here. So I just need to get the 3rd, 4th and 5th album, and then yeah, and I love the design on the CD as well. It looks like the vinyl record. And then this one's by Jimi Hendrix. This one's called Cornerstones, 1967 to 1970. It's not strictly a greatest hits compilation. I mean, the first half of it is. I mean, the first half of the tracks on there are hits. And the second half is like more rarities, and there's some live recordings on here as well. But yeah, it's a good CD. This is what got me into Jimi Hendrix. I think I had this on cassette tape originally. But I do have all of his studio albums, and I actually did rank them. That was actually my first video of this year. So if you want to see that, then please do check that out. And this one's by the Kinks, the Ultimate Collections. This one has 2 CDs. So this was my first Kinks CD, because I'm getting into the Kinks albums now. I do have some of the albums, but yeah, this was my starting point with the Kinks. This was how I got. This was the first Kinks album I got. So yeah, it's a good compilation. Yeah, I do love the Kinks. Such a good band. And this one's Cream, the very best of Cream. And this was the first Cream CD I got, because I have all the studio albums now. But I decided to keep this one because it does have Anyone for Tennis and Wrapping Paper, which are not on the studio albums. So yeah, I kept it just for those 2 singles. But yeah, I do love Cream. And I've got a couple by Deep Purple. This one's called Under the Gun. It's more like a greatest hits compilation of their later material though. So it doesn't have like the 70s or anything. It's more stuff from the 80s. And there's some live tracks on here as well. But yeah, technically it is a greatest hits compilation, so I decided to include it. I've got another one by Deep Purple. So this one's called Icon, so this is part of the Icon series. They release quite a lot of compilations. I think they released a Beach Boys one. So yeah, this is their Deep Purple version. So yeah, so it's got Perfect Strangers, so that was a big hit for them. But yeah, I do love the 70s Deep Purple though. Such a good band. And I've got this one. This is Jefferson Airplane. This is called don't ask me how to pronounce that, but yeah, it's a retro gold collection. So yeah, it's got some deluxe packaging. But yeah, I do love Jefferson Airplane. So it's 2 CDs, so it's got like big hits. It's got White Rabbit on here, Somebody to Love. I think this is all I need of Jefferson Airplane, at least for me anyway. I think this does it for me. This is all I really need. I like the discs as well. They're like yeah, discs are kind of like gold. Because yeah, like I say, there are some bands where the greatest hits are probably all I need, and I think this will do it for me. I think this is it for me, but we'll see. But I think I'm good to go on Jefferson Airplane. And next one I got, one of my favourites, the very best of Cat Stevens. You know, this was how I got into Cat Stevens, and I love this compilation. You know, there's 24 songs on here. I love every single track on here. There's not a bad track on here. This is perfect. And I think, you know, this is all I need for Cat Stevens, really. I mean, you know, I love Cat Stevens, but I think this just covers it for me. You know, this is just, it's one and done. I mean, it's got a DVD with it as well that has some of his live performances, and it's got a music video on it as well. But yeah, this is just fantastic. Yeah, it's a bit old, you know, because it's a digipack. I mean, digipacks do wear down; they do wear out after a while. But you know, the disc is still absolutely fine, and I don't ever want to give this away or get rid of it, because you know, this is one of the best. This is one of the most important CDs in my collection. And I have one by the Beach Boys. Beach Boys, the Platinum Collection. So yeah, you get 3 discs worth of material on here. So yeah, I mean, I do have Pet Sounds as well, and there's a few of their other albums that I want to get, but I don't think I'm going to want every Beach Boys album. But there are certain ones that I do want to get. You know, I've got Pet Sounds, and I also do want to get Surf's Up and Sunflower and maybe Smiley Smile. But yeah, this is a really concise collection. I mean, it's got all their singles. There's a few album tracks on here as well. Yeah. So yeah, just fabulous. And I've got one by ELO, the very best of Electric Light Orchestra. And yeah, pretty much just 10 out of 10. There's not a bad track on here. Even though I have pretty much all the ELO albums now. I think there's just a couple I need to get. I still need to get From Out of Nowhere, which was the most recent ELO album, and ELO 2, which was their second album, and the Xanadu soundtrack, which I know does have Olivia Newton-John songs on there as well, but yeah, I'll get that as well, and then I'm complete on ELO. Yeah, it's such a great band. And I've got some Status Quo compilations. This one's just called The Best of Status Quo. So this covers the early Status Quo. So this has 60s Status Quo. So it's got pictures of Matchstick Men. It's one of my personal favourites. Down the Dust Pipe. Ice in the Sun. Green Tambourine. Great cover song that they did. So yeah, this is early Status Quo, which is probably my favourite era of Quo, to be honest. And you know, I think I might want to get a couple of the Status Quo studio albums. I think I might have a couple. I can't remember which ones they are, but I think, yeah, I think I've got Never Too Late, and I've got Back to Back. But I do want to get their debut album, and you know, a couple of their 70s ones as well. But yeah, I do love Status Quo. And this one's called Classic Status Quo, so this is 70s and 80s Quo on here. It's only like 15 tracks on here, but yeah, this was the first Status Quo CD that I got. I think I got this in Tesco. This was, I think, yeah, it was in. I got this in Tesco about 12 years ago now, so I've had this for a long time. This is a box set compilation. So this is called Now and Then, and yeah, it's a 3 CD box set. This is fantastic. It doesn't have any of the 60s Status Quo, but it's got the 70s, 80s, 90s, and 2000s on it as well. So yeah, this is fantastic. So yeah, I'll show you the so that's volume 1, volume 2, volume 3. So yeah, Status Quo, they're just such a great band. I love them. And then I'll show a few more. I think this is possibly gonna be a 3-part, or possibly a 4-part. But yeah, I'll show a few more in part 2. So this is the Pretty Things, the rhythm and blues years. So 2 CDs. Yeah, Pretty Things they're a great band of the 60s. And you know, with this, I think with the Pretty Things, this is all I need really. This takes care of me. I'm good to go with this. You know, this is one of those bands where I think the greatest hits are probably all I need. So yeah, that's the Pretty Things. And this one is the Mamas and the Papas, the EP collections. This is all, it's basically just all of their EPs that they released in the 60s, but they're all put onto one CD. But yeah, it is. But yeah, it consists mainly of their hits. So California Dreaming, obviously. Monday. I Call Your Name, which is actually a cover of the Beatles song. I mean, I prefer the Beatles version, but the Mamas and Papas version is not bad, but I do love the Beatles one. Dedicated to the One I Love, Dancing in the Streets. So many great songs. I do think the Mamas and Papas do have... they probably do have better compilations than this, but I think I'm good to go with this one for now. And got another really good one here. This is the Hollies' greatest hits, and I do love the Hollies. They are amazing. So you get 2 CDs. And the Hollies are one of those bands where they do have certain studio albums that I do want. You know, I'm not going to want all of them, but there's certain ones that I do want, like Butterfly and Evolution, which both came out in 1967, so they're like psychedelic albums. And I do have their self-titled album from 1965. But yeah, this is a really good collection. So yeah, this and Evolution and Butterfly, I'm pretty much good to go. I'm pretty much good to go. So yeah, Hollies. And then I'll just show a few more. This is the very best of Buddy Holly. And yeah, this has everything I need from Buddy Holly. It's 28 tracks. Heartbeat is my favourite song, by the way. I love that song. And yeah, so this is all I need of Buddy Holly. So yeah, really good compilation there. And this one is The Searchers, the Essential Collection. And The Searchers are such a great 60s pop group. And they're from Liverpool as well, so where the Beatles came from. And they started at around the same time as the Beatles, so... You know, I love Sweets for My Sweet. That's a really, really good song. Don't Throw Your Love Away, Sugar and Spice. It's 2 CDs, you know. It's probably all I need, except this doesn't include their cover of Twist and Shout. I really like their version of Twist and Shout, but it's not on here. But I'm not going to go too crazy, you know, because this is, you know, apart from the absence of Twist and Shout, this is a really concise collection, and it advertises other ones as well, Hits of the 60s and Small Faces, which are another band that I love. And then this is the best of Jerry and the Pacemakers, 2 CDs, and you know, this is all I need. Again, you know. But yeah, great song. How do you do it? Which the Beatles covered it during the Please Please Me sessions, and I think originally the record company wanted them to release that as their next single, but they released Please Please Me instead. But the Beatles version, you can find it on Anthology Volume 1. Yeah. So that's the end of part 2, so I will continue with this in part 3. So, you know, as always, I'll see you then. Take care.